For this video log, I read Chapter 2 entitled Helping Students Build a System for Processing a Variety of Text. Something that I learned from this is the importance of having engaged readers and helping them build confidence through being engaged in reading and being encouraged through that. The book this chapter specifically talked about a few different strategies that can be used in aiding children in becoming more engaged, and ways that educators can be looking for the best opportunities to incorporate those strategies into our classroom with each of our students. As readers, we all engage in complex thinking. The book had mentioned that as educators, we need to model that to students. On page 14, it was talking about modeling that through conversation and not just questions. So engaging students through a conversation instead of just asking questions to keep them engaged. Really focusing on modeling that to them, such as expressing your ideas that you're thinking of, and just thinking of ways to get the students more involved with that. The goal is to keep them actively thinking throughout it, and comprehending in turn ends up being much easier when students are actively engaged, and that's the ultimate goal of reading, is comprehension. So keeping that in mind and just keeping the different strategies in mind. For example, there's content knowledge, and students can use the knowledge that they have from that content, or personal knowledge that they think they know about that content based off of situations they've had personally. A quote that I picked out was on page 13. It said, "Engaging students in brief conversation prior to reading helps them become active listeners. They can share their expectations, and we can draw their attention to information or ways of thinking about the text that will be important." And that just kind of goes back to the idea I was saying of modeling through conversation. It helps them to really engage, and it gets their attention and gets them thinking in a way that's more important instead of just like a question, will I get it right, will I get it wrong kind of idea. And the question I have is, what are some strategies to use in the classroom to aid with comprehension? I know it's a tough topic. And there's obviously strategies such as like picking topics that will keep the students engaged. But like, what about those topics that are more complicated and just aren't as easy for the students to follow along with? What are some strategies to help with comprehension?